Oh, that's real good.
How's it going?
Hi. I wish it would input us on the exact spots where we want to be, but I can't code that in StreamYard,
So
sadly.
I can go like this and this and
Yeah, I had to move everyone around. Oh, it's okay. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back.
We missed you last week at midnight.
We did.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, that good for them. Good for them, honestly.
IDP
Good for
after
them.
dark. We called it.
Good for them.
How's everybody? Excited for week 5?
It's crazy. Just to think that next week we start bye weeks is just
I was thinking that
Oh,
earlier.
yeah.
telling
we
you how
do.
quickly this season's going by. It's
I just thought how crazy everybody's already been on waiver wires without bye weeks. And if somebody wants to steal a meme, and make it, because I've been thinking about it all day, like this image and this image, week 1 to 5, and then 6 through the end of the year.
yeah.
It's just going to get crazy. And it seems like this year is just crazy. I
Crazy
don't know.
bad.
It's just me or...
Yeah.
I wonder if teams and players are kind of not. I wonder if the injuries that are keeping certain players out now are the type of injuries that would keep them out in previous seasons because they didn't have the extra game to worry about down the stretch or extra games to worry about. I wonder if they're easing players more so this year into the longer haul because you got the extra playoff game, you got the extra week in the regular season, and it's kind of like, hey, we don't have to rush you out there full 100%. We need to, take your time, take your time with you. Yeah.
Right. All right, well, let's get this started. Are you guys down with IDP? You better be, because here we play defense. I'm your host, Roxanne. With me is Joe, Nate, and Jorge.
Hello.
Joe,
What's going on?
Hi.
All right, let's go to news and notes. So some of this was added just today, and I didn't see it yet. So first one, Blake Martinez signs with the Raiders.
Cool.
We expect him to play right away.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him a week.
Okay.
Big downgrade for Jayon Brown. Probably player to situation to watch would be the Denzel Perryman, and we kind of mentioned that his relationship with Patrick Graham probably says that Martinez is the 2-down linebacker with the 3rd down rotation of sorts. With the, I believe I speak for all of us when we say the IDP hope is that he becomes an every down linebacker. I don't really care if I'm speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for myself because I have Blake Martinez still rostered in some leagues. I want to be a 3-down linebacker. So
yes, agreed.
I do too. Actually, after I saw this last night, I'm like, where do I have? Oh, okay.
Agreed.
Cool. So, and the injury, is this worrisome that he's coming off of? He only played 3 games last year, right?
Not worried.
Yeah, not worried at all. I think he's good to go.
Good to go.
Full year arrest. He's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So now
I mean, he's not like, as young and as injury free as he was when he was in Green Bay and he went to the Giants. But man, if he can, like Nate was just alluding to, if he can return to form, like to have Diablo and Martinez as 2 viable fantasy options for you at starting linebacker, that's crazy.
The stupid shadow keeps moving too as the sun's moving with me. All right. Next, we're going to move on to Tremaine Edmonds and Poyer DNPs. Talk to me about that because I didn't see this yet.
Doesn't matter. They play Pittsburgh this week. I mean, for IDP purposes, that hurts because they would eat against this team. But they're going to absolutely blow out Pittsburgh. So from a real football standpoint, this does not matter. Honestly, let them both sit this week. Yeah, let them both sit this week.
And that might be why they're sitting out too. It's nice to look ahead and say, oh, can he play it?
Yeah, we got this.
Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy win.
Right. Jeremy Chin to IR. Surprising? No.
That hurts Nate's feelings.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
I have Chin in the league, but I have Derwin James as the starter, so it doesn't really hurt.
No.
Yeah.
First world IDP problems on your end there, Joe.
Yeah, really,
I know,
really
it's horrible.
tough.
I gotta roll with Derwin James this week. Damn it.
Yeah, God. I haven't played Jeremy Chin once this year. Oh, tough. Absolutely tough. Obviously, that hurts a lot of players, but I think safety is, I mean, unless you're in like the IDP guys invitational where you're starting 11 guys on defense and 3 of them have to be safeties, your waiver wire might not be as big, but I imagine for most people, you're able to find somebody on the waiver wire right now to replace Jeremy Chin. I don't think, like, obviously his production's not going to be as good as Chin's, but for the 4 weeks, I don't think you're too concerned at that safety position right now. For Carolina, it sucks because they couldn't get any worse, but they have. So, yeah, it's bad.
Luvu wears the red jersey on Thursday.
Speaking of sucking.
Yeah. That sucks because he was banged up last week, and I don't remember him wearing the red jersey last week. So for them to get down to this level makes you wonder.
Well, so you also have to consider this is pretty much the most snaps that Luvu's ever played in his career in a season, and he's done it in 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks. I think that he's just feeling things a lot more. I don't think it's super concerning as far as missing the game Sunday, but I do believe that it is something that going forward, if you continue to, death by 1,000 cuts, it might be IR by 1,000 cuts if he continues to get banged up here and seeing this extended amount of snaps.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. We're moving on to J-Ron Curse gets in full practice while Donovan Wilson is limited.
This makes having to make a decision a lot easier, because, everyone was saying how good Donovan Wilson is, and he's been playing lights out for IDP. But when Curse has been in there, he's been playing lights out for IDP. And, earlier in the week, we were having this debate about, like, if they're both healthy, which one are they going to put in? Which one are we going to start? And I guess the injuries are kind of making that decision for us.
Yeah, I like when I don't have to make a decision and it just plays out for me.
It's so much easier.
Easier.
I have talking offense real quick. Michael Pittman and Mike Evans on a lot of teams, and so the last 2 weeks with each of them out and suspended, and it's like, well, that decision was made and that was easy for me. Now this week, don't even want to talk about Pittman.
You have an easy decision this week. It's Mike Evans, and it's a smash start. Okay.
100%.
Just checking.
No, I'm not even thinking about Pittman against Broncos.
Lovely.
All right, John Greenard, DMP. I think this was one of Jorge's picks last week, and then he changed it. And I did have some stuff written down about him.
Yeah, definitely went the wrong way, as we'll talk about in a few minutes with the defensive ends for for Houston. What does this mean? Are you starting any other Houston edge rusher? No, you can find somebody better on your waiver wire, or you probably have somebody better on your roster.
100%.
Ojulari and Quincy Williams did not practice.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We missed you, Joe.
Whatever. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
It's on my list.
No, I. Do we have to
I'm
say
sorry.
it?
I love it. I love the passion. He's like, who gives a shit?
Do we have to say it? Yes. Does it fucking matter? Wow. Hell no, it does not matter. You are not maybe Quincy Williams. No. Maybe.
No, you're not anymore. You did last year when he was DB eligible, and that's the only reason he got play and he was in your lineup is because
him and Mosley had 100 tackles each last year, so it's not like he wasn't serviceable, but he's just not that this year for whatever reason.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Good.
Here we go. Let's find.
It matters. Let's not play this down 100%. Like, it matters if you're playing in deep leagues, like playing in a one IDP spot league. Yeah, of course it's not going to matter, but I mean, it matters to some people out there who are playing in deep leagues. Let's not dismiss it completely.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you make a good point.
I want to know about the deep league that Jorge's playing in that he told people to start the DL 113 last week.
Yeah, well, he was playing so well heading into the matchup. He had and here, look, I'm sorry, this was a horrible decision. But you look at who they had listed in the beginning of the week at the starting left tackle for the Chargers. Didn't play a snap all season long. And then they went ahead and put somebody completely new in that you had no information about letting into the game, who played lights out in replacement of Slater. So this was truly a curveball when it comes to matchups. And it's just like, you just got to take your L, Sometimes you can't see it coming.
You can't always be right.
This is true.
I'm going to say he wasn't too right on many of these this week.
No, I was very
okay.
I blame the after darkness of the IDP.
Okay. Oh, totally fair. Fair.
I'm sorry. The midnight screwed with my
I agree.
my picks there. This week I'm not going to be wrong though. Rashad Weaver, edge rusher for the Tennessee Titans, going against the defunct Washington Commanders.
Rashad Weaver.
Awesome. Yeah, well, he was right week 1.
2 times.
Definitely going to this defensive line for the Titans will definitely get after Washington and Carson Wentz, aka Mr. likes to hold the ball too long. So give me that.
Most times this year so far, pretty sure.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah.
He's bad.
He is.
He's not awesome. Had Ernest Jones last week at linebacker. Really thought the snaps were going to be in his favor against the 49ers. Just turned out not to be the case. This week, though, I'm going to go with the Hard Knocks favorite here, Malcolm Rodriguez, a.k.a. Rodrigo, going against the New England Patriots. His snap percentage has gone up each week. His tackle production has been going up. His solo to assist ratio has been fantastic. He's going to get you great points. He's becoming an every down and every week play for those who have 3 LB spots to play in their starting lineups. Viable LB2 this week against Patriots team that doesn't have their starting quarterback or probably will not have their starting quarterback this week, and therefore have 2 great running backs who like to run the ball. Last I hear, starting an inside linebacker going against a run-heavy team can never really hurt you, so to speak. 9 times out of 10 in fantasy. So definitely going to be starting him this week and recommending him this week. Staying with that game, staying with that team, I'm going to go with Deshaun Elliott, defensive back, gets the Patriots again. Strong safety, plays close to the line of scrimmage against a run-heavy team. You can't really go wrong this week with those 3 guys. So Rashad Weaver, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with any of them. Obviously, with Rashad Weaver, if you're listening and you're thinking, is Rashad Weaver a pickup to play for the full season? The answer is no. The answer is in situational matchups like this, it does make sense. Someone's going to eat across that defensive line. Is it going to be Rashad Weaver? I don't know. Is it going to be Danico Autry? I don't know. I mean, we know it's probably going to be somebody, considering Washington's allowed, 15 sacks on the season, and they're pretty much garbage across that offensive line. But, yeah, I like that. Ernest Jones, like you said, 36 snaps out of the 50. You thought maybe more. He wasn't involved in run D. That was one of the weird things. He normally is pretty involved. Normally gets 40% of his tackles against the run, and I don't think he had any against the run. And he was bad in coverage, so they kind of exploited it, and he allowed some yak. But going forward, I like Ernest Jones and I like Deshaun Elliott in replacement of Tracy Walker. He's not Tracy Walker, but he should see plenty of action, a la Tracy Walker. Joe, you didn't get a chance to make picks last week. So we're going to assume that all 3 of yours would have been dynamite, perfect picks. I would say congratulations.
Thanks.
In advance. And we'll look forward to hearing these. And then next week, the accolades will continue to pour your direction as you nail another 3 picks for consecutive weeks.
So I went back to week 3 when I put my picks in, because that's the last time I did it. I have been all over the defensive back position, so that is by far my most confident position. I picked Eddie Jackson, and he had an interception that week.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Marcus Williams the week prior. He was the DB1.
Wow.
I had Williams at D-line 23. Meh. I mean, startable, but man, I think he had a sack, so that was nice. I've swung and missed on Mac Wilson. I clearly have no idea what's happening with the Patriots linebacker position right now. Tavai is getting the most snaps. I don't understand. This week, Khalil Mack. I don't know. Saw him play decent last week. Had a sack. Maybe he's back. Who knows? Very run-heavy team. Should see a lot of action around the line of scrimmage. Brissett known to hold the football sometimes for too long. So I think Khalil Mack will be able to get in there, get in the backfield a few times. Leighton Vander Esch, I don't know. Flip a coin. I like Vander Esch. I don't like him at the same time. Like as a player, I don't think he is what a lot of people think he is. I think he's very one-dimensional. I don't like his all-around game, but this week against the Rams, it just feels good because they put a lot of stuff over the middle, and dude just lives there. And also, they've had some trouble, the Rams have had, in terms of blitz pickup, and if Vander Esch is shooting the middle, it's arguably the worst part of their offensive line, so he might be able to sneak in a sack.
Arguably the worst part of the offensive line on the worst offensive line.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
The worst of the worst.
Yes, exactly.
I'm scared for Matt Stafford. I really think he's going to get hurt.
I think he is hurt.
It's sad to watch, honestly.
We had this exact conversation last night. I said I brought up the proposition of, and I'm sorry to go into offense, Joe, and I keep it short and sweet, but I mean, with this line and with Stafford, the question of is Cooper Kupp a potential sell extremely high and get the bag for him? Because without Stafford, is he's still a 1 probably, but maybe a 2. And I mean, you could you turn that into, I don't know, something crazy like maybe shoot the moon for one of the other elite receivers that I don't even want to get into it because I'm going to start going on an offensive tangent and I want to hear the rest of Joe's picks.
Oh, thanks, man.
I just have that written down. I'm worried about Matt Stafford because how amazing Dallas's defense line has been so far. I mean, they're on fire.
Not to mention the Rams are one-dimensional. They need to run. These running backs are not elusive. They grade poorly in that metric, both Henderson and Akers. I love this pick with Vander Esch this week.
Great. I picked him up in IDP, guys, because I need a linebacker. So
it's a good one.
I'm really glad you guys are really making this sound good. I was looking through the matchups. I'm like, yeah, he seems good. I don't like Leighton Vander Esch. Like, I don't think he's great.
Totally understand.
So I just think he is a mediocre linebacker with a wannabe neck roll. And that's how I feel about Leighton Vander Esch. That's how I feel.
Neck roll. That's great. I love it.
My DB pick, again, this defensive back I am the defensive back whisperer. I don't understand what I've done, but I have not missed so far on a DB in terms of who I've drafted or even put on my team or put in my picks. Adrian Phillips against Detroit just seems like an absolute lock for a top 10. Heavy run team.
Combined tackles and a hit on the quarterback last week from him.
Yeah, I mean.
Against Green Bay.
Yeah, and you want to talk about a team that just threw the ball 80% of the time to their tight end last week, and talk about a defense that can't cover the tight end right now. If Adrian Phillips sees himself on Hawkinson, which he is not a great man-to-man guy, he is better in zone and hitting people underneath. If they send Hawkinson deep, odds are Hawkinson beats him, and you get the 1.5 to 2 points for a solo tackle for Adrian Phillips because Hawkinson's not outrunning Adrian Phillips. But I think he fills the gap a lot. I think he stops Jamal Williams a few times. New England defense has a lot of rushing touchdown to running backs. That's a big part of Adrian Phillips coming in, filling the gaps. So I like Phillips this week. Top 10, I say lock in the top 10. I think that's definitely a stretch. He has to cause a turnover or get in the backfield for a sack, I think, in order for that to happen. But I do think it's doable. There was multiple games last year where he was able to force a fumble, get in the backfield, get a sack, return a pick 6 against the Chargers last year. So, and he was covering the tight end in the flat on that play. So if that ever happens, there's a good opportunity for that. If Jack Jones can turn a pick 6 against Aaron Rodgers, Adrian Phillips can do it against Jared Goff, I believe.
Can you say Hawkinson one more time?
Hawkinson.
I love how you say that. There's something very distinct about it. You got to talk to Josh. You got to talk to Ryan about that. You just keep it in the back of your mind when you're talking to them next time.
Hawkinson. What am I missing?
About it. Something about it. Just something about it just resonates. I don't know. It's just me.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Can you quit saying his name then? I don't like what's happening.
Should I start my own ASMR channel for Detroit Lions fans?
They don't know what ASMR is. I already asked them last week.
We do now because
now
of last week.
Jay Hawkinson.
Exactly. This is after hours, after dark. Before he's gonna go blind.
This is onlyfans.com/clubfantasyFFL. Okay, this is all right. Let's move on. Nate, what are your picks?
Well, my first pick is the tight end out of Detroit. What the hell was his name?
TJ. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Divine Diablo.
Divine Diablo. Diablo. No, last week was not it was set up to be good. I had Kayvon Thibodeau. Loved the matchup. I liked the fact that he had the pressures. Didn't like the end result as a DL 52. I mean, he picked up a fumble, was close to getting a sack and another strip, but close doesn't count. So it is what it is. At linebacker, I went with Michael Walker, who finished as an LB 18, solid as as an LB 2. I'm good with that. I think the play was I think it was an easy pick just based off where he was in the situation. But you know what? If the ECR consensus isn't going to see it or be on board, I will bring people's attention to it. And last but not least, Julian Love was, it was concussed. I don't take that as a loss. I don't take it as a win.
Yep.
Take it as that sucks. And I take it as a loss in the Fantasy Pros ECR rankings because I had Julian Love in my top 8, and him not finishing with the point basically, or 1 point doesn't help, and it killed that. But neither here nor there. I should just listen to you, Joe, when it comes to defensive backs. Maybe I did move Adrian Phillips just up a couple spots just now as a result because I figured why the hell not? You know what? Your iron sharpens iron, as they say.
I don't understand what I've done this year to be this fortunate. I think the only guy I've really missed on, who I've hyped up, is Jesse Bates, but he's picked it up the last couple weeks, so I'm hoping that continues. Yeah, I don't know what I've done. I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but I love it. So
question, in terms of Julian Love, we love the fact that he was playing closer to the line of scrimmage, helping out that linebacking core. He's concussed. They bring in now Landon Collins.
Exactly. Is
that going to eat into? You think he's just a concussion replacement, or is he going to kind of resume his role, as it were, like he had been in his previous seasons?
My 2 cents is this. I think this is it's a move. 50% related to Julian Love, 50% related to those linebackers that can't tackle anybody. And I think that they brought him in. Maybe they'll run multiple safety sets just to have some bigger bodies on the field is a potential. I don't know that 100%, but that's what I would lean to. I think that it's not good for Julian Love going forward because I think that does eat into some of his snaps if it's not something worse than this concussion. Joe, Roxanne, any differing opinions?
I'm sorry, I was looking at Odafe away, and
I don't think it has. I don't think it has anything to. I don't think it affects anything for Julian Love. Julian Love is a really good player. I don't think it affects anything for him.
Okay, that's something we can't follow it this week, but going forward, something we'll be able to see exactly. So,
and he should be back next week. Yes,
correct. Yeah,
okay.
Should, assuming it's not anything more, which we don't think it is. At the defensive line this week, I seem to have a theme with this player. I had him picked out for our show prior to another show that I had mentioned this particular player on, but I had dibs here first, so I'm going to stick with that. And that's Odafe Owe. And I absolutely I'm sorry that if you have a chance to take advantage of this, $100 million offensive line that's playing like the McDonald's Happy Meal for adults, you take full advantage. It is, it's a joke.
Burrow's been sacked 16 times already, and he's on pace to get sacked 68 times this year.
Yeah,
that is scary. Well, -4, so 64 times.
And I love the people who are
17 games. It is 68 actually.
Mm-hmm.
I love the people who are coming out after last week versus the Dolphins. Like, oh, the Bengals offensive line figured it out. Like, no, they didn't. They were just playing the horrible pass rush of the Miami Dolphins. Like, that's not right. Let's not crown them just yet.
And that's the crazy thing with the Dolphins is they, after week 1 or week 2, when they had, they had like 24 pressures, 25 pressures, it was the thought of, oh, this is the Miami Dolphins pass rush. This is going to be dangerous. This is exactly what they need. Well, that was also because, that offense was humming on firing on all cylinders. And when you're ahead, it makes your pass rush much more effective, a la like the Kansas City Chiefs for years. They led the league in sacks for multiple years because you're up by 24. Of course, the other team's going to pass 75% of the time against you. Can't sack the running back. So, there's my Booger McFarlandism for you, Jorge. I shall move on. Tip of the cap. Thank you so much. Odafe Owe, one final little piece is that JPP joins the team. JPP likes to play on that left outside edge, and that moves Owe over to the right side. When he's blitzing from that side, he gets the benefit of good old Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams is supposed to be improved this year. Was supposed to be improved last year. And Jorge, you know this, but Jonah Williams has an efficiency rating of 95%. Sounds pretty good. 95% I would take. That ranks 142nd out of 151 qualified offensive linemen. That probably means he's not going to be efficient. Does that mean that always going to get a sack? Well, no, because I picked him. It's probably cursed. But
facts.
If you're going to pick and have a choice between someone like, let's say you're looking at Odafe Owe and we'll use like Hassan Reddick. We talked about Hassan Reddick, like coming off of a huge week against Arizona. Maybe I give the edge to Owe. And I have those two pretty close to each other in the rankings. Is the only reason why I picked him. Not picking on Hassan Reddick, but it's okay.
Don't worry, I'll pick on Hassan Reddick in my lowered expectations. Don't worry.
What do you know? Is that foreshadowing? That's amazing.
It's actually like straight up giving it away, but yeah,
great job.
Well, I didn't. Nobody else knew you were going to say it.
That's shadowing. That's foreshadowing.
Yeah. Until he said that's
sure.
You could have kept it to yourself and surprised people. You jerk. But
you jerk.
At linebacker from Michael Walker. You don't want to hear. You don't want to hear who I'm going to say. Well, that doesn't mean it's a bad play. I mean, here's the good news: is if he's getting tackles maybe 8 yards or 6 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he gets 15 of them, that's probably a good successful run by Melvin Gordon or Mike Boone or whoever else. Not Latavius Murray; he's out.
Wow.
But I do love the Zaire Franklin play. Right. I don't see Denver really stretching the field. Even though we want Cortland Sutton to do that, I just something about this offense is blah. And I don't know exactly if it's play calling, if it's a combination of features, but Zaire keeps getting playing time. And we saw it last week that no matter, who you are, Bobby Okereke, even, as good as he's been, starts playing bad. And what happens? EJ Speed comes in and replaces him. There's no outside of maybe the big names, DeForest Buckner, Leonard, whenever he's healthy. Nobody's really safe to get playing time if you're not playing well. And I think Zaire Franklin is playing really well for a person I watched at Missouri who was not that great. I'm shocked that he's doing this as good as he is. But snaps are there, makes sense for the situation.
Then, 15 combined sacks and a hit on Tannehill last week. Is that what?
Oh, that's right. For Zaire, yeah, he had a great week last week, and each time,
yeah.
And it's not me just chasing the stats either. It's easy to do. Sure. I mean, it's easy to get caught up in and be like, oh, last week was so good.
Totally makes sense. When I was writing it out last night, I'm just like, he makes such a good point, and this is going to suck possibly for us tonight. Again.
We shall see.
Again.
I'm sorry.
It sucks.
It was not the intent to bring up a person against your team.
I know. No, you pick who you want. I was just last night. I'm like,
He's like, that was not my intent. Exactly.
Wait till you see all my Denver slander later. I'm just kidding. That's not for chat room. I don't have any.
I can handle it. We are not good.
I am going to take an easy pick at defensive back. I'm taking L'Jarius Sneed because I still believe there's people that need to hear L'Jarius Sneed needs to be rostered and can be played on a week-to-week basis right now. The way he's being utilized in the Kansas City defense is better than any other, quote-unquote cornerback that you would normally roster. People are concerned with corners because they traditionally aren't the most consistent scorers in IDP. But L'Jarius Sneed is as consistent as they come. If you use, I didn't know this until recently, as of about 20 minutes ago, on FantasyPros scoring, which isn't the end-all be-all, but it's a rubric. Do you know who the number one overall IDP scorer is? That's L'Jarius Sneed over Max Crosby, over Devin White, over Nick Bosa. He's number one in total points.
Weird.
So it's weird that he's number one. That is odd. Very odd.
It's completely fitting for this weird year, though.
Right?
That's
true. Absolutely. It's more weird that he's actually available in leagues. Just because in what format, in what fantasy league have you ever seen, usually offense, where the number one overall player would be available on the waiver wire? It just doesn't happen. And again, I don't know if he's not going to finish as the one, but he leads, he leads defensive backs in every category possible. And let's look at Derek Carr. What's Derek Carr do? Does he throw it deep? No, Derek Carr does not throw it deep. He's thrown it deep 16 times. He's only had 3 completions deep. He throws 52% of his passes short to intermediate. And guess where L'Jarius Sneed has kind of eaten a little bit too? Well, number one, pass rush, but then 2, balls right there without having to stay deep because he's been actually playing in closer to the line of scrimmage.
They figured out he can't cover deep. That's why he's closer to the line.
Don't care because they're using Brian Cookmore. And so if you look at Sneed's total tackle volume and where he's getting the tackles, it's actually that short to intermediate area. That's about it.
L'Jarius Sneed as an NFL football player, I think is terrible. But
see, I don't think so. I think he's good. I think he's a good cover.
He can't cover.
I think he can.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
I will have to go watch some tape and decide this because
not good.
Those are 2 different ends of the spectrum there. Not good and good.
He's okay.
All right. We'll go down the road. All right.
Roxanne, who's the defensive back whisperer?
You are.
Come on now.
I've watched every Chiefs snap for, I don't know, maybe
bad
15, 20 years.
Bad.
Not really. Math.
Overrated. No,
ratioed. Isn't that what you were supposed to say in that?
Ratioed.
Yes. Good job, Nate.
Thanks.
Do you have any questions, Joe?
No, everything's been offense, so I got it all in the chat.
I love it. All right, then we are going to move on to lowered expectations. And Jorge's first.
So normally it's always Divine Diablo. If somebody asks me, are you putting him into your starting lineup? Are you expecting top quality performance from him? Yes. Not this week against Kansas City. I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know I'm talking offense here. He's one of the top 10 scorers and running backs in fantasy. And you would think on a team that's a high-powered offense that this guy would be featured a lot in the running game. He's not. He's just not getting the amount of attempts per week that other running backs in the top 12 get on average. And it's because of that usage, that seldom usage in the, in rushing the ball, more usage in receiving the ball. They're using him in spots. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that they're using him in spots makes any kind of consistent prediction in terms of tackle upside for Diablo a little bit more difficult to anticipate. So it's for that very reason, the fact that the volume I just don't think is going to be there, the tackle volume that is, you can definitely lower your expectations for Diablo this week.
And your pick last week, do you want to talk about that? It's pretty
Jamin Davis, Washington Commander, LB 82. Got it.
Pretty good.
Good job.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to my pick from week 3. It was Jamel Dean, because I said everyone needs to calm down because he had 2 picks, DB 55.
Boom.
The Whisperer strikes again. This week, I am going with Hassan Reddick, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you missed his blow-up game. He has one every year.
Mm-hmm.
He has one blow-up game every single year. 2020, 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Do you know how many points that is? That's ridiculous. Do you want to know how many sacks he had up until that point of week 14? 5. He had 5 over 12 weeks.
Wow.
5 in 1 week. He then had 2.5 the rest of the season. He is incredibly inconsistent. His numbers get inflated due to one big week. For example, at looking at the tight end position, going into last week, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, 1-2. The next closest guy was 25 points behind both of them. You want to know how far the second closest guy or the third closest guy is now? It's TJ Hawkinson because he had 50 fucking points last week. But TJ Hawkinson's not the tight end 3 on the year. Like, what are we talking about? He should have a good week this week, especially if ARSB sits going against the Patriots defense. But TJ Hawkinson's not the tight end 3. That's very clear. Like, you can see that with your eyes if you look at that. So Hassan Reddick, again, go back to 2021. He had a blow-up game, 2 sacks, 8 combined tackles. His most combined tackles all year, his most sacks all year. I mean, he had 3 straight weeks of 1.5 sacks to start the season. Cool. He never had more than 2 sacks the rest of the year. Also, after he had his 2 sacks, no sacks the next week, only 8 combined tackles.
That's so
really
stupid how one game can do that.
I know. So
That is so
last week he had 2 sacks, 4 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 quarterback hit, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles. He had 32.5 points in IDP, guys.
Wow.
He's not. You want to know what he had the week before? 14.5. That's a good week. We'll take 14.5.
Right.
You want to know what he had the week before? 4.
Hey, that's what I was going to say.
And then 3.5. He is not consistent. He is incredibly overrated at his position. And I understand, and I kind of almost refrain from this. People are like, this is a Hassan Reddick revenge game. He plays the Cardinals this week. That's the team that drafted him. Yeah, they drafted you, realized you fucking sucked and shipped your ass out. That's why you're not there anymore. I'm sorry. And I look back, the term revenge game, that needs to go out the window.
I agree.
Left the moment Steve Smith retired. Because very clearly, no one has had a revenge game since Steve Smith retired. Every year.
Nor will they.
Nor will they. And you know what? Deshaun Jackson, for that matter. Deshaun Jackson and Steve Smith are the epitome of revenge game. Name me another person that's had a revenge game since Steve Smith is retired. It's Deshaun Jackson, and that's it. I don't think Hassan Reddick has a good game. I think he struggles this week. I don't know what it is. I don't feel confident in Hassan Reddick. I am playing the past odds of Hassan Reddick in a blow-up week and him not performing the next week. There's no way this dude has 32.5 points again. Dare I say he even has 14.5 points like he had in week 3. There's no way it's happening. And Josh chirped me, said, should stick to DBs. Man. Josh is saying this because he's 4-0 in IDP, guys. Calm down, kid. Reddick's coming for the Cards this week. 3 of their 5 starters are hurt, and Murray is 29th in passing yards when pressured. Cool, I guess. Like, yeah, cool. You watch every Eagles snap. Awesome. Tell me how good that Minnesota Vikings offensive line is, and show me how many sacks he had, because he had 2 tackles, 0 sacks. Show me Detroit Lions offensive line is really good. I'm not gonna hate on them. But even an offensive line where the Detroit Lions put up 35 points on them and they allowed like almost 200 yards on the ground, Hassan Reddick had 2 tackles. He is either a sack machine or he does nothing.
It mostly does nothing.
He mostly does nothing.
I feel like there's like dirty jokes somewhere in there that we're just missing an opportunity on right now.
I mean, do you want me to make a dirty joke? Or?
I mean, sure, but probably Josh, yes.
I wasn't thinking clearly. Sorry, just to So this, you want to know how much of a blow up this guy is? In the year of 2018 through 2019, 2 seasons, he had 5 sacks. He had that in 1 game in 2019.
Right.
He's a blow up guy. That's all he is.
Who blows
I don't
up
know
what?
what more you want. The Josh, you're a numbers guy. Look at the fucking numbers. He's bad. Like, he's not good. He can't play. He has blow up games. Why was he in the top 12 last year for defensive linemen? Because he had a blow up game. TJ Hawkins is going to be a top 10 tight end because he had a blow up game. He had a 45-point outing. That's the only reason, because the position sucks. Watts hurt. Garrett was out. I mean, you've had these top guys go down to the defensive line position. Reddick will finish top 12 because he had a 32.5-point week.
All right. Bigger blow up. I'd say hype machine. Chandler Jones or Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick, that's not even close. Chandler Jones has played way more consistent over his career.
Chandler Jones has had like 70% of his snaps over the last 3 years happen in 2 games.
Okay, and that's fair because he's gotten older. I completely agree with you on that. But at the point where Hassan Reddick in his career at age 28, but Chandler Jones is 33, 34.
Yeah.
At age 28, Chandler Jones was fucking up every single offensive line in the NFL. Hassan Reddick's not doing that.
And I don't think he's going to age gracefully, Hassan Reddick. That was definitely not a, hey, I'm defending Chandler Jones
no.
Hassan Reddick. That is
Right.
both are, if you just look at the end and you go, oh, man, look, they averaged 16.5 a game. How the fuck they do that? They ever, let's see, 3 points, 2 points, 8 points, 27 points, what? 4 points, 22. You know what I mean? I know what you're
67?
saying. Yeah, 67 points.
Yeah.
And it was early in the season for Reddick, late in the season for Jones. So you go into that next year remembering that recency bias a little bit. But,
Yep. This is me cooling off everybody. And real quick for Nate, Isaac said he picked up Zaire Franklin because he's been balling for the Colts. So given
that's a great pickup.
Yeah, giving your boy, that is Nate's pick at linebacker for the week, Isaac. So I love that, man. All right.
Yeah.
And now who's your DB that you're going to lower expectations for?
So last week, it wasn't a DB that I lowered. It was Zadarius Smith, who, despite having the sack, was the DL 46 or the linebacker 67, depending upon which way I wanted to reference that. But I went ahead and stuck with that and showed both that he underperformed based on
both suck.
Both sucked. And he played. That was actually that's kind of based a little bit on my plan. I was like, he's hurt. Maybe he won't play and I'll look like a genius. I'll be as smart as Joe. Nope. Not. But still kind of. I'm down. I think he's a good player. I think that I think there's an escalation of value. But after 3 weeks of excellent play, Eddie Jackson is going to see a more traditional DB 45 finish instead of the top 18, top 20 pick this week. And a lot of that has to do with the opponent. And that's Minnesota has just not done anything in terms of generosity to opposing safeties in the box or deep. And Eddie Jackson has done both. And if you look at Eddie Jackson, his production has come, he has 3 interceptions. That obviously is not going to last. I can't envision he has 16 interceptions at the end of the season. But, crazier things have happened. Jorge has some kind of Hawkinson fetish, which nobody knew was coming. So maybe Eddie Jackson does have 16 interceptions. Who knows? But if you look at what Minnesota's done, let's go back to week 1 against Green Bay. They allowed 5 total tackles to the safety position and a pass defense. Week 2 against Philly was a little bit better, but still 11 tackles combined between. Now, granted, we're not also facing spectacular safety play as of yet. Adrian Amos is fine. Nothing against Philly. Sorry to not beat them up, but it doesn't get much better. Detroit, Juju Hughes had a good day, but that was about it. Short of that, it's just not a ton of action is played through the safeties against a Kirk Cousins-led Minnesota Vikings team. And I don't think a lot of the running play, Dalvin's a little banged up, but at the same time, I think the tackling at the linebacker core, as well as the defensive line, should slow enough to prevent Eddie Jackson from just eating. I don't see a 9 tackle floor like he's established for the last 3 weeks happening again. If it does, I'd be shocked, but I think more of that probably could get eaten up by Jaquan Brisker than anything. So Eddie Jackson, I'm out on this week as far as chasing last week's production or the week before, or really the week before that too. That's it.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen because I have Eddie Jackson and I'm forced to start him. So I hope it doesn't happen. So,
but what do you think's going to happen if you weren't starting him?
I don't know. It's the Bears defense. It's Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Maybe if Darius Slay doesn't play for the Eagles, maybe the safety makes the play and not Darius Slay. So maybe that's my hope. Maybe Eddie Jackson is the Darius Slay of the Chicago Bears defense, and he also intercepts Kirk Cousins twice.
I will say Darius Slay did have a really good game against them. So
he's just a corner, and they're not even remotely in the exact same area.
Doesn't matter. We're building a narrative that fits to your team winning, because you're not playing me, because I don't believe we're in any leagues together. So I root for you to win. I want my co-host to be shitballs.
Yeah, they're just not. They're not running enough. They're not running enough. So that's what scares me, especially with any safety. So that's it.
That's it.
Cool.
Fun.
See
what's your predictions for the game tonight?
The Broncos throttle them. It's not even close.
Oh, I love you, Joe.
Yeah,
absolute throttle.
I gotta say, I told you I had Matt Ryan as my QB 30 on the week. But that doesn't say a lot as far as where I think that the good news is all of his production, the 215 yards and touchdown, 80% of it goes to Michael Pittman. Hopefully, come on, because I did want that to happen.
As poorly as Kenny Moore has been playing from a real football standpoint, and the fact that his snaps are starting to take a little bit of a hit here, and beat reporters for the Colts are saying, his time in Indianapolis, instead of getting that new contract, is kind of coming to an end. That just screams upside for all these receivers going over the middle for Denver. So Denver's going to roll.
I like it.
See, there we go.
Again, I'm scared, but I like your guys as you have made me believe a little more.
There we go.
All right, this has been the latest episode of You Down with IDP from Club Fantasy and Fantasy and Frames. Make sure you're following Fantasy and Frames on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fantasy and Frames. And be sure to check out their website, Fantasy and Frames, for all your IDP needs. And don't forget, they do Dynasty Redraft and DFS too. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. DFS, player props, sports betting, and our start sit column confidence plays all begin hitting the site tomorrow morning.
Nice. That is another successful show.
Another one.
Sure.
And just in time for me to answer that last question in the chat. So great timing, Roxanne. You nailed it.
So we're good. Oh, for Nate, Joe, and Jorge, and myself, thanks for joining us tonight on You Down with IDP.
And real quick before we go, because I need to plug this because I'm going to refresh here real quick. We are 6 subscribers away. I see new names. If you haven't subscribed and 6 subscribers, please do. But do it because we're giving away a signed Cortland Sutton jersey at 450 subscribers. And if you're subscribed, you're just automatically entered to win. So we just spin a wheel live on No Punt Intended every Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe because that's all you have to do in order to be entered to win the jersey. We've given away, I think, 5 or 6 jerseys now at this point. They've all gone to different people. So get excited. It could be awesome. You. That's all I wanted to say. So it could be you. You could be the person.
It could be you.
Yeah, it could be you.
Always remember, offense may win fantasy, but defense wins fantasy championships. Don't ever forget that.
See you guys next week.
See y'all.
See ya.